We are going to show you several tips in this video. The first one has to do with the use of annotation to generate controlled fractures. Many users use this tool often, and it works very well. Sometimes we need to add more than one line to generate a larger number of fractures. Remember to press the End Annotation button when you are done. RBDLab will automatically add the annotation option to the fractures. Here we see the result. But let's go back and use another technique. This time we are going to use a spline to generate the fractures. This technique is very powerful, and I like it better than annotation. We move the spline points to our liking. Then we go to the geometry panel and increase the depth. We can also increase the resolution to increase the amount of fractures. With this technique we have much more control over the density of fractures in our geometry. We convert the spline to mesh. Finally, we match the spline to our geometry by pressing Ctrl+P. In the fracture options, press Shift+Child-var to check that option. In this way we will also mark own particles. This way we add some points. Finally, we fracture. Once fractured, we delete the spline, it is no longer useful. Add the rigid bodies and the floor. We make sure to leave the floor at the edge of the geometry. Let's create the object that will break our geometry. Now we animate it. We add a passive rigid body and set it to Mesh plus Animated. Now we are going to make the side chunks passive. Now we have our simulation. But we can see some problems. Some parts break before they should. Also, if we remove the outliner, we can see how some parts come off prematurely. If we are going to make a detailed drawing, this can be a problem. Let's solve this problem with Acetone and Kinematic. We create a geometry that we will use as acetone. We animate it just like the cube that destroys the floor, but a few centimeters in front. Now, We activate the kinematic option in our collection. As we no longer need the deactivation option, we deactivate it. Now if we press play, we see that nothing happens, because the whole collection is kinematic. We select the cube and we indicate it to work as acetone. We raise the substeps to make sure that it works perfectly. And hit record to let acetone do its job. Once it has finished, we can see the result. We no longer see those front pieces falling off prematurely. Nor do we see the floor cracking prematurely. This is one of the many functions that acetone has. We will continue uploading videos with more tips and utilities.